Hello, thanks for joining me, Facebook Live. I'm really loving doing these videos, and I gotta tell you, these are interesting times. I am seeing in the world so much divisiveness, and you know what? It's kind of interesting because every day I'm feeling this incredible joy, this wonderful buoyancy that is rising up in me, and I know that it's because I'm rising above that battleground. So yes, I have concerns about the politics of what's happening right now, and I am very much interested in being involved and taking action. Hey, I was born at the very end of 1959, and my parents were 22 years old when I was born, and they were social activists working in the civil rights movement, and they brought me along. I remember holding their hand and walking in marches, holding signs when I got bigger. I remember passing out bumper stickers and going to headquarters and hanging out and doing all kinds of things while my parents were making phone calls and very involved in social activism in the 60s and in the 70s as well. And then, of course, I became a social activist as an adult and been working for peace and justice. And that's very important to me. And I continue that work. And I'm so grateful that I've learned to continue that work without incredible judgment, that my mind is healing. And one of the things I can tell you is I really have George W. Bush to thank for helping me with that, because when he was, well, I'll go back to when his dad was a president and Clinton was running against him. I was really frightened that George Bush Sr. might be re-elected, and that was really scary to me. And I made the decision that if he was, I was going to leave the country, that I didn't want to be a U.S. citizen anymore, that I didn't want to be a citizen in a country that would elect someone who seemed to have the politics and values that George Bush Sr. did. And then when George W. Bush, his son, was elected, that was horrifying to me, and the things that happened in those first 4 years were really upsetting to me. And when he was running for re-election, and there were the incredible lies that were being told, and the shenanigans, the absolute insanity that was being broadcast to the American public, I was very angry and upset about it. And then he got reelected, and I was like, OMG. But by then I had realized, hey, if you don't like a system, don't leave the system. Work to bring your values into play there. And I love the values of our founding fathers. I think they were amazing, amazing people, particularly for their times. And I'm such a real, a liberal, but also very much a patriot. I love democracy. I love the freedom to be able to disagree in public, and that people who don't agree with the president can take issue with them, and that they can have media time. There are so many things that we value in America that I really love, and I'm interested in working to support and maintain. But I'm not interested in fighting for those things, because I'm just not interested in fighting. I don't mind working, I love working, but fighting is not what I am interested in. And I don't wish to really argue with anyone or have any conversation like that. And I'm really grateful that I can't remember the last time I did have a conversation like that. And one of the things that I recognize is that I am really able now to see things with a new view. And it doesn't mean I'm not taking action, because I am taking action. It means that the number one action that I take is changing my mind about the world. So yes, I'm interested in expressing my views and values and being that living demonstration of love and truth and beauty and wisdom and clarity and all those things that we're all designed to be. I remember back when George W. Bush was in his second term as president, I was listening to a speech that he was giving, and it was in the background. I think I was visiting my parents, and my father was listening to it, and I heard his voice, and my mind was going towards really judging him, and I had a lot of judgment about him. And then I had this realization: he is my brother. He is the Christ. That anything negative that I would say about him, I had to be saying about myself, because I'm one with him. And I'm just not interested in self-attack at all anymore. So I'm not interested in attacking my brothers and sisters. People ask me, why did I go to the march on Washington? Well, I went to the march in order to take a stand for love and be a loving presence, because I had a feeling that it was possible that that scene could be ugly, because I knew a lot of people who were going were very, very angry, upset about the election of Trump and what happened with the popular vote and things like that. A lot of people I knew had worked very hard to elect Hillary as president and had really set their hopes on also the first woman president. And so I was concerned that there might be angry people, and that there could be even people who were paid to go in and instigate violence. So I decided to go to be a loving, light-filled presence, and also because even though I have never been pregnant, so of course I've never had an abortion, I do believe in a woman's right to choose. And I've counseled many people who've gone through that difficult decision. I know how challenging it is, and the idea that abortion could become illegal again is one that doesn't support, I don't think, our life. So I wanted to express that view. And I was so glad that I went, and I was so glad that literally I saw hundreds of thousands of people, and I didn't see any police until the whole thing was over, or I was leaving at 4 o'clock. So I had been there for 5-6 hours in this massive crowd, and I never saw any police until I was just at the very end leaving and walking away from the crowd. And I walked up to one of the policemen and I said, "Hey, how are you? I want to thank you for being here today, and I'm just curious, how was your day today? How do you think it went? How did the police feel that it went?" And he looked at me and he said, "You mean the marchers?" And I said, yeah, how did it go today? Because I was in it, so I have no idea what the news was or anything about it. He said, "Oh, piece of cake. No, this is one of the greatest days. You know, it's just beautiful. People are so beautiful, so kind." So I see that the tide can turn, that we can rise above the battleground, and we can do it together, and joining together is really important for that. So I'm feeling this, and I'm hearing the conversations that are happening in our Masterful Living course, and seeing how people are choosing to rise above that battleground, and what a difference it's making in their life, even after just a couple of weeks. I don't know if you know, but last week, just a few days ago, I opened my year-long Masterful Living course enrollment for 1 week. And so there's just a couple days left where you can still enroll in my year-long course if you're interested. We're having an amazing time this year. I'm absolutely certain this is the most expansive year in my life yet so far, and I'm excited to see how it unfolds. And I've been making some videos about that, and you can watch them, find them here on the page probably. I am so excited for what's unfolding, even though sometimes the greatest breakthroughs come when we are being challenged to our core. So if you feel like you're being challenged to your core and you'd like some support in our year-long course, check out Masterful Living. And if it's not right for you, of course you'll know that intuitively. Just follow that. Either way, hold in your heart and your mind that it is your desire to rise above the battleground and to be that loving presence in your workplace, in your family, in your community, and to demonstrate non-judgment and the power of love and non-judgment. This is what Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr., two of my great teachers, along with Jesus and many others, have taught me that it's possible for us to do. We can do it. We are doing it. And I'm so grateful to share with you today. I love you. I thank God for you. Have a beautiful, beautiful and blessed day, rising above the battleground. Mwah.